Hello, I'm going to do my usual count in just to make sure I'm definitely live. 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome. This is live for Cycling UK. It's our 4th episode of an audience with, and I can't believe it's going so quickly. We've only got 2 more left. And they started this series at the start of lockdown to bring the cycling community together, to keep everyone sort of engaged and having something to do, a little bit of entertainment. And it's just flying by. It's flying by. 2 weeks ago, what do you reckon? Will lockdown be over by then? What do you think? How's it looking? Oh, too soon? Yeah, too soon. I've gone straight into the COVID-19 chat. I'm so sorry. I'm going to move on to the good stuff nicely and quickly. Cycling and drinking. What are you drinking tonight? If you've got some beers going, if you've got wine, I've got the carve, or if you fancy some cocktails and you've gone all fancy, get your thumbs on the emojis and pop it into the live comments. I'm just going to open my comments bar here so I can see. Hello, Jazz. Nice to see you there. Anybody else who's got a drink, pop them into the comments there. A little bit of an intro about Cycling UK. Cycling UK are a charity. So these evenings are bringing the cycling community together because Cycling UK want to get more people cycling easily, safely, and enjoyably. They do so many campaigns, tons of campaigns, but for obvious reasons, I suspect that we've got a bit of a big up of mountain bikers in the audience today. So I'm going to highlight some of the off-road campaigns. They are the driving force behind Trails for Wales. So our guest tonight should be particularly interested in this one. They've got the government to accept that the laws for byways and public footpaths in the countryside are pretty antiquated and, quite frankly, unreasonable, where they're banning bikes indiscriminately. So hopefully we should be seeing those bans lifted soon and more access for riders in the countryside. Hear, hear. That's what I say. Also, to any trail diggers out there, trail diggers in the past have been in touch with Cycling UK when their trails have threatened to be knocked down. And they'll offer you legal advice and information and trying to bring you with a compromise with landowners. So got your backs there. They're also the brains behind the Great North Trail and King Alfred's Way. So the Great North Trail is 800 miles connecting the north of England all the way up to the north of Scotland. It's an epic adventure ride. So maybe some of you here would like to do that. So that's just some of the work that Cycling UK do on the off-road sphere. And something else that I do want to highlight to your attention today, because it's very pertinent and it's really important to us right now, is our campaign to get NHS workers and frontline health workers free membership with Cycling UK. So loads of health workers have started to commute by bike. It's a new world for some of them, and we like to give them a little bit of support whilst they're doing that in their fight really against COVID-19 in this crazy world that we're living in. So that's our little bit that we're doing to help. They'll get insurance and peace of mind, tips and advice about cycling and routes. So if you'd like to support that campaign, it's also a fundraiser. So yeah, please do donate. You'd have seen that on the screen just now. So go onto the website and do donate. We've reached over 20 grand of our 25 grand fundraiser, which is fantastic due to the support of members and the public. So obviously people do value this. And if you know any NHS workers and health workers who benefit from this, let them know. Tell them to get in touch and to take advantage of this. So that's the important stuff, but now on to the fun stuff. We've got our very first mountain biker in the series today. Yeah, she's a female free rider, a mountain bike film star, all-time epic rider. We can't do an applause, so get your thumbs on the emojis, put it in the live comments. When you do the blue thumbs up and the heart, we on this side of the screen can't see it. And I want our guests to know just how much we appreciate having her in today. So please put some smileys in the chat bar to welcome Veronique Sandler. Yay! Hello! Hey, how you doing?
Not too bad, thanks.
Cool, what have you been up to today?
I have been trail building at my local dirt jump spot, which I recently discovered actually like a month ago. I'd heard a lot about, I've only lived here for about 5 or 6 months. So during the winter, I'd heard about it from a lot of people, but I never went to check it out because it was winter time and I knew that the trails wouldn't be running. and I didn't really know. I just thought of it as it was going to be a tiny little dirt jump spot. You know, those ones you see around that kids build when they're like 12. But I turned up there about a month ago, and it's insane. It turns out Dan Atherton built it quite a number of years ago with a digger.
It's not going to be small then.
Yeah, so it's huge. I got there, I was like, oh, maybe I'll build myself a small one. But yeah, since then we've been, every couple of days we'll go and sort of like revamp the lines. So that's what I've been doing today, which is super satisfying. I love it.
It is. I've just started digging myself as well, actually. And literally my body shape has changed. Like, I've got muscles on my arms. Like, I've got biceps for the first time. And like, I've got this muscle here that I didn't even know was a muscle. Just it's so much effort.
Yeah. It's mad.
It's super satisfying.
It's like, I have so much more respect for trail builders because it really wrecks your body. Like,
yeah.
I can normally, like, if I go hard for a day, I struggle to dig the next day. Well, I can dig, but I don't dig to the level that I'd like to dig at. So it's like, it definitely takes it out of you.
Yeah. And I've got to say, actually, to all the trail builders out there whose trails that I have ridden in the past, and just, I mean, I've never been ungrateful, but I've got to say, like, a huge thanks for all the years of enjoyment you've given me on the back of your hard work. Just going to say hello to some people in the audience there. Hi, Lucy, Helen, Josh, Paul, Jane, Lauren, thanks for joining us. So, Vero, I'm going to talk straight in about Vision Movie, because that's a huge project of yours that really did explode. And for anybody who's watching this who hasn't actually seen it, it's a feature film starring yours truly. And you travelled around to loads of different places to get inspiration whilst you built your dream line at Revolution Bike Park. You met a load of different riders, tried out loads of different places to ride, and then actually had this line built. And then, spoiler alert, the film ends with you and tons of the top level world riders riding it together. It was amazing. It was so good. How did it all come about?
When I got on Adidas and 510, which was in, I think, what is it now? Yeah, 2018. It was at the start of 2018. I was just stoked to get some free shoes because I didn't have a shoe sponsor. And then it all kind of escalated really quickly from there. The CJ at Adidas and 510, who's an absolute legend. She's actually a sick freerider herself. She's sort of like the marketing man or the athlete manager for all the riders. And she's really stoked on freeride, in particular, like women in freeride. So she was like, come to me with a couple of video ideas for the year. I was like, sick, okay. So we went back and like, I wrote a couple down that, you know, like some chill. Up until then, it was my first year being properly sponsored as well, and not having to work a full-time job on the side of riding. So I was pretty new to the whole thing. So I thought, oh, cool, yeah, I could do a couple of videos. I came to her with the idea, and she was like, yeah, sounds good. And then we picked, one of them was to build, because I really like digging, so one of them was to build a little line somewhere and film on it. And I thought I'd just be in a field somewhere in Wales with a spade, digging a couple of jumps. And that's what it was going to be like at the start. And then it all just escalated from there. Like, we had more and more ideas, and then 510 and Adidas turned out to have a bit more budget, so we could go overseas to film some stuff as well. And it all just blew up like right in front of me. I was like, even now, during the time, I was just kind of sitting back and being like, whoa, what's going on? This is so sick. Like, literally the dream set up for me, like having I love filming, and I love riding, and I love traveling and digging. So it was everything that I'm super passionate about all in one, just come at me real fast. And I was like, yes, let's do this. So it was
a massive project as well, like a long feature film, and it was pay to view. What, like, were you confident about doing it like that? What was the decision behind getting people to pay for it? Like, that's ballsy in a way. It's like saying this is going to be that good.
I don't know. CJ sort of took the reins on on that side of stuff. I had no idea what the budget was or anything like that, but she sort of knew like what we could achieve on that side of it. So I sort of, whatever she said, I was like, okay, cool. I'll just, I'll do whatever I have the opportunity to do. So, but I never really pushed. I never really went there and was like, I need this much money and I want to do this and this. I was just like, I've got these ideas, and she was like, cool, we could do a bigger version of that if you wanted to. So
yeah, because it's pretty revolutionary. I'm not sure even within other sports, maybe you can enlighten me here, whether there have been many female leaders for feature films like that. You know, there's stuff around on the internet, on YouTube, that's free for viewing.
Yeah.
But where it's like that top quality filming level that people are investing to watch, I'm not sure there's many female protagonist films of that caliber.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's a pretty unique thing for sure. Like in the mountain bike industry, it's definitely very rare. And I know there have been a couple like female-led films, but I don't know if there's been many freeride ones or ones of that sort of style. There was one not long before I filmed Vision. Anita and Caro Gehrig, who are some twins from Switzerland who race enduro. They went to I think Afghanistan and did a really cool video.
Wow.
By them. So that inspired me. Actually, I watched that and I was like, this is awesome. And before that, I was like, I've not seen any films by female-led films in the industry. So I was kind of nervous, like, oh no, I don't know if it's a good idea. But when I watched that, I was like, this is awesome. We can definitely do it.
Yeah, actually, that just reminds me, you've just triggered my memory of a film called Skateistan, which is also pay to view. And it's about a female skateboarding project in Afghanistan and how they're getting.
I've seen that maybe.
Yeah, if you haven't, and anyone watching this, definitely worth checking it out. It's, again, prog film, really revolutionary. But anyway, back to your movie. How involved are you in the creative process from the storyline and then the actual building of the vision line, which was based on what the film was all about?
So, well, in terms of the whole thing, I was right there in all the meetings discussing everything, and we were coming up with all the ideas together. But on the build side of it, obviously, when I first came to CJ with a project idea, I wanted to just build some stuff in a field on my own. But then as the idea for the movie escalated to like a much bigger scale, we realized that I probably wouldn't be able to dig something that's good enough to be to like do the movie justice on my own in a field. So
you'd get no filming done, you'd still be there digging now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I was like, I'd love to learn how to drive how to operate a digger, and then I really wanted to be involved in the build process myself. But when we spoke to Revolution Bike Park, everything kind of fell into place, and we realized like it's too good of an opportunity to miss filming there because it's such an awesome place, and the people who run that place are just the sickest. Like they're so passionate about what they do, and they're in it for the right reasons. And they have the best digging equipment and the best experience and the best skills for digging that I didn't even want to be a burden to them and come and doing all their work. So they were really like adamant that they wanted to like do the digging themselves. We went, because I used to live in South. Actually, now I live like 10 minutes from Revs. But at the time I lived in South Wales, which was a couple hours away. But I used to come up super regularly and just walk through the line and discuss ideas and sort of, design what I wanted there. So in terms of the actual build, I wasn't involved, but the design and everything was like a joint effort.
Cool. And so, I mean, I can imagine you would have been lying awake at night, like imagining it and thinking about it. And what did you want it to be? And did it achieve what you'd imagined?
Yeah, well, I imagine it basically was like just blown up about 10 times better than what I had ever imagined. Like, when we first turned up there, it's sort of the vision line sort of crosses over and like up and down a fire road over and over and over. And when we first got there was just a fire road, and I envisioned something, but what they built was like ridiculous compared to what I'd ever imagined. Every time I went up there and I built a new jump, and it just looked so perfect and so much better than I thought it would. So yeah, big up to Revs. They absolutely smashed it.
Because you went to a few different places throughout the film to get inspiration. So what type of line, like describe what it was that you wanted from that line? Was it just something massive? Was it dirt jumpy? Was it flow? Was it legacy?
It was sort of a mixture of a lot of video of my favorite mountain bike videos. I drew inspiration from a lot of them, and then Death Grip obviously is a really sick movie, and I was super inspired by the line that they built in Madeira. And then luckily we had the chance to go and actually check the line out in person, which was amazing for the movie. So then that got me even more hyped. Before we went to Madeira, I just sort of had ideas in my head and stuff, but I never actually went to see any physical lines that I thought we could gain the inspiration from. But when we went to Death Grip, and Brendan was there with us, and I spoke to him about the build and like how they went about it and how he designed it, which that really kind of changed my idea, because he said, I was like, oh, like, did you have an idea for what you wanted to build before you got here? And he was like, I don't really do that. I sort of turn up, look at the land or the landscape, and go with what it's offering. Use like natural features that are already there to build stuff. Because and then that's basically, since he said that, that's basically what I've done every time I go digging. Because it can be pretty disappointing if you're like, yeah, I want to build a massive step up right here, and then you go there and it's just with your hand tools. There's no way you can be there for years. So So after we went to see the Death Grip line, and then we went to Barcelona to the Poma bike park, and I had a really good time. It was only really my second or third time properly dirt jumping, so I was pretty scared. But then once I got to the line at La Poma, I was like, I definitely want to build something like a couple of jumps that have steep lips, like dirt jump lips, similar to dirt jump lips. So that was definitely incorporated into the vision line as well. It's sort of like,
oh, sorry, carry on.
It's sort of like the sick thing about it, I think, is you can ride it on any bike, like literally any bike. You can actually, guys, what's it called? Ruben
Alcantara, yeah.
On that mountain BMX. And then,
nuts. It's this little BMX for anyone listening now. It's a BMX with knobbly tires and suspension. I'm not kidding. What did you think when you saw that going down it?
I thought it was sick. It made me hype, because I'd seen people hit it on their dirt jump bikes, and I was like, that's awesome, because then people have hit it on dirt jump bikes, trail bikes, downhill bikes, everything in the mountain bike range basically. And then he comes in with a BMX. I was like, yes, it's even better. You can hit it on any bike if he's hitting it on a BMX.
Would you give that bike a go?
For sure. But I definitely give it a go.
I think it looks nuts. I've not actually ridden on it yet. I've been with him a lot when he was riding it, and I'm just like, whoa. I don't know, man.
I think it was a thing. Let me know as well. Give me some feedback.
So throughout the whole process of that,
my boyfriend really wants to buy one, so if he buys one, I'll definitely give it a go.
Oh, cool. Are they in production yet?
I don't know. I don't even know if they're for sale, but as soon as he saw it, he was like, I'm having one of those whenever they come out.
He's doing something. So throughout the whole process of my husband's just chipped in there as well. I've just seen in the comments saying BMX, he's given it a go, you see.
Nice.
He's ridden it. So the highlight of the whole process of Vision Movie for you, what stands out?
The highlight of what? Sorry, the whole thing.
Vision Movie, the whole thing.
Definitely. I mean, the whole thing is a massive highlight in my entire life, basically. But the major number one highlight above anything else is the session at the end on the Vision line, getting all these amazing riders from all over the UK and actually there was like a couple, maybe like 4 or 5 international riders as well, come from overseas, and we all hung out in this massive. One of the videographers, actually, his parents own a pretty big house nearby, so we all just hung out there in the evenings, and we went in session. It was amazing, yeah. We all just sessioning all day, having fun, no pressure. Like it wasn't the usual vibe of filming where you're like, okay, push back up, get another shot on this. We were literally just riding, and then the guys just happened to shoot wherever they were. So it was like just how I wanted it. Perfect vibe.
Oh, I love it. That's one of those memories that when you're like 100 years old, you're going to look back and it's still just going to be really heartwarming.
Yeah, I feel very honoured to have been a part of it.
Wow, no, we've got you to thank for spearheading it, because everyone's enjoyed watching it so much, and indeed riding the line as well. You know, you didn't just build it for yourself. So many people have been riding it since. So thanks.
That was a massive part. Like Adidas have a big they like really pushed for sustainability, and then also when I went to see the Death Grip line, even though it's amazing, it was like pretty derelict when we got there, and it was kind of a shame to see like this amazing iconic line sort of just like left there. I definitely wanted it to be something that people could ride for years and years. Filmed on it, so yeah, amazing.
Like we say, that legacy, so well achieved. And in that film as well, you also did the sketches, so these graphics that go across the screen, which is super personal actually, like real cheerful touch. I love that. It's wicked. Do you like drawing?
Yeah.
You're quite good at it.
Yeah, I a couple of years ago, actually up until probably a year ago, I went through a phase of drawing all the time, like every single day, and I really liked it. And then I sort of, I don't know what happened. I just ended up doing other stuff, digging and stuff. So I haven't drawn for quite a while now. But yeah, I love it. It's good.
Life got in the way. I can see you've got your pen there because you know what's coming now. We've got a little game, because we know that Very's got a little bit of a talent for drawing. We've got a little bit of a game for the audience. So we're going to play some Pictionary. So this is how it works. Very's going to draw a picture. She's going to be told what to draw by our producer in the private chat. So Very, can you see the private chat bar in your screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. She's going to draw a picture that we're all going to see, and the first person in the audience to give the correct answer of what she's drawing is the winner. So I'm going to be watching the live comments. So Vera, if you tip the screen down to your notepad, you can start drawing the first thing whenever you're ready.
Okay, please excuse my... I only ever really draw trees and mountains, so this is probably going to suck. Down. Is that okay? Like,
oh, that's a really good point. We didn't think of that. Well, we'll see. I can draw it upside down. If anyone gets it,
yeah.
Well,
okay.
Then great.
Okay, cool. So do I stop? Do I stop drawing as soon as someone guesses it, or?
Yeah. I'll let you know when someone's got it.
Okay. All right.
Get going, and don't say what it is whilst you're drawing it.
Cool. All right.
This is how it works. The pressure's on.
Okay, wait. Okay. So down here. All right. Nice. Okay, here goes the worst picture of this of all time. Okay, it's a sort of round square. Oh my god, that's horrible. A banana. And let us see. We haven't had any guesses yet. Okay. Round two. I wish I had one right now to. Yeah, for you to copy. Yeah. Surely. Yes, we've got the correct answer here from Melanie. A full face helmet. That was a horrible attempt. Full face helmet. Oh, amazing. Okay, here's one that I think you might be quite good at. So if you have a look in the chat bar there, I nearly said what it was. I forgot that I'm not allowed to say it. I was going to make sure my hand's in the right. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Cool. So if you bring it down just a little bit, yeah. Just there, yeah. That's perfect. Cool. All right. So we've got you drawing one of your favourite things. No, it's not a downhill rider. How hairy are your downhill riders? No, it's not a downhill mountain biker. People really seem to think this is a downhill mountain biker. Maybe they turn it around. I think there might be a delay, so they're seeing the previous sketch. Wait, maybe if I turn it down a little bit. Yeah, that's it. So what is this from the audience? Maybe should I draw it upside down? I'm going to try that. I mean, if you can. If anyone that's exceptional skills. Yes, we've got the correct answer from Lynette. Woohoo, a forest. So I like Melanie's guess there with a tree line, single track. Okay, next one. We've got a couple more to go.
Paul, yeah, there's a tree in there, indeed, but there's lots of trees, which becomes a forest. Okay, Vera, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Pictionary drawing number 3.
All right.
We're getting trees. So I think there's a little bit of a delay here because we're getting answers for previous drawings.
Okay.
So moving on to 1. Oh, I recognise this. I know where we're at with this. Yay, exactly, Lynette. Well done, you. So Vera is drawing some ladies' skirts from the 1920s. And don't panic about your drawing skills. I do think there is just a bit of a delay with the people watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, nearly. Beth nearly got it. Yes, Melanie. We had dirt jump, gap jump, BMX jump, but the correct answer, they're all pretty correct, aren't they? But the official correct one was gap jump.
Nice.
Producer Hannah, could we skip the next one and go for the one after that, please? So we're going to move on to the final drawing now.
Cool. All right. Okay. I'll try.
So I'm just going to check in the private chat that we've got this one. Yeah, that's it. So we've got the correct one.
Oh.
I mean, Paul's right there with step up as well. The landing was a little bit higher than the
sorry, yes. Step up.
If people are being really technical.
Should I draw this now?
Huh? Yeah, get started. Off you go.
Okay. Hang on.
So anyone joining in just now not having a clue what on earth is going on, this is an audience with for Cycling UK, and we have got mountain bike superstar Veronique Sandler playing a game of Pictionary. So in her feature film Vision movie, she actually hand drew the sketches that were the graphics in the film, and she's delighting the audience with some drawings whilst we have to guess what they are. They're all sort of things that are personal to her.
Wow.
Cute.
Actually, I think I can draw a way better thing. Let me try.
So these hands that you can see in the screen belong to Vera Sandler. She's not just a very talented mountain biker, but we were led to believe she's a very talented drawer as well.
It's all a lie. Okay, what about how about this one?
Yes, we've got brilliant. We've got so many correct answers, apart from one person, Paul, who said it's a berm.
You can tell I'm very rusty, so please don't judge.
It's not a berm, it's a dog. And that's brilliant. We've got Beth here, who actually knows the name of your dog, Oski, who I believe is sat next to you. Do you want to give us a little
introduction? I'll wake him up for this, okay?
Oh,
come on, mate, wake up. You just come on.
None of it. Come and say hi to the audience. Everyone loves a trail dog. He's fantastic at joining you with digging, and can he run alongside you when you ride without getting caught in the wheels?
He's very. I only got him about 5 months ago, and he'd never really had much to do with bikes. Wake up!
Oh, he's so tired. Poor thing.
With bikes before, so he I don't know what he thinks tires are, but he really liked to nip them and just get and he's got a really strong jaw, so he used to get his teeth sunk into them. And a couple times I was out on just rides up my local trails, and he flattered a couple of random kids' tires that were there. So it was quite an issue for me at the start, but with a bit of training now, he's dialed and he comes out all the time and he absolutely loves it. He's a part Hunterway, which absolutely love to run for miles and miles and miles. So he's the perfect dog for me, basically.
Wicked. He looks well trained. All right, so Veri, we're going to get into a little bit about your history and who you are, but I just want to remind the audience of what we're doing here tonight. Cycling UK is providing a series, an audience with some of the best loved names in the cycling industry. And we've got Veronique Sandler with us tonight, who's representing on the off-road, so the first mountain biker in the series. Thanks for joining us. At Cycling UK try and get more people cycling safely, easily and enjoyably. They're involved in loads of campaigns, as well as opening up some of the trails and the countryside to off-road riders. And the thing that I really want to talk about is the NHS and healthcare workers campaign. They're doing a fundraiser to provide free membership and insurance to frontline workers during this really difficult time, to get them on their bike cycling, again, safely and enjoyably. So if you'd like to donate to that cause, or if you know anyone who could benefit from that, please do visit our website. You can see down on the screen below the information that you need. So Vero, thank you for being part of the support this evening, and we're going to talk a little bit more about you. Typical question, classic question, how did you get into mountain biking?
I used to ride horses when I was a kid, and I had one actually. I had a pony. Back in New Zealand, it's not such like a posh thing to have. Like I think it's a lot more affordable to have a horse.
Right.
That well, they just kind of have them in the backyard and they're just chilling. So it's not a very expensive hobby. But my brother used to ride. He's a year and a bit younger than me, and he got into mountain biking with his friends. And he took me out for a couple of rides, and I really enjoyed it. And I sort of started paying less and less attention to my horse, semi-neglecting it, which was not ideal for the horse. And then, yeah, I got hooked on it really, and we both got into. Well, he was a little bit ahead of me in terms of getting into it, but then after I ditched the horse, I was super hyped. So we both used to go out and ride.
The horse?
What's that?
What happened to the horse?
Well, he was fine. We sold him. He was actually super lazy, and he didn't like to be ridden anyway, so he was killing on the fields.
A bike sounds like a much more malleable bed.
What's that?
A bike sounds like a much more malleable bed.
Yeah, definitely.
It's getting ridden whether it wants to or not.
Yeah, and he was fine. The horse was fine.
Cool.
So yeah, I just got into it through my brother really, and then we both sort of just used to go out and ride all the time. And then we both got into downhill racing. So yeah, that's where it all took off really. And
so racing was a really big thing for you. And you kind of, were you looking for a career as a pro racer, would you say? Because you were doing the World Cups, you were traveling around the whole world from New Zealand and Europe.
I wasn't really looking for a career. It's just what I really enjoyed doing. So it's what I've put all my, like, everything I had into it, basically. Like I worked really hard to earn the money to go overseas when I lived in New Zealand. And I was supposed to go to uni, but I liked riding too much. So I decided to spend a couple more years doing, going around Europe and riding. So I was never looking, I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. I just really enjoyed it. So I just was kind of following my heart. Yeah. Fair
enough to me. And you got some all right results. You're pushing into the top 10. What does that face mean?
At the time I was like, well, I was always just so mad at myself because I really wanted better results. But yeah.
Would you say that you had, what was it that wasn't for you in terms of racing? Because you've got the level as a rider to be a decent rider, but you weren't getting the results that you felt that you wanted.
Yeah, I just sort of, I just struggled mentally really badly with racing. Like I always felt like I was good enough to get the result I wanted, but then I could never put it together in race runs. And I know it happens to loads of people, but it was really frustrating mainly because, like I said, I put everything into it. Like I worked really hard to get myself overseas, and then I trained really hard, and I basically did everything right. But my head and my mental situation couldn't sort out just one run. That's all it would take, but it just would never work. So it just was, yeah, it was really frustrating because I was putting so much time and effort into trying to get good results, and it wasn't happening for me, and I couldn't work out why or how to do it. So after a while, I really liked traveling around Europe and with my friends and going to the races, and I liked everything basically apart from the race run and then the feeling afterwards. So after a while, after doing it for quite a few years, it sort of started to enjoy it less and less because of that.
And did you, because you never really picked up a really strong sponsorship deal, did that set you apart as a privateer, like trying to keep yourself going? How were you even funding yourself?
Yeah, it was. It's actually the reason why I live in the UK, because it's really, really expensive. So I was doing the season, then I'd go straight home to New Zealand, work all year until the season started again. Actually, I'd leave a couple of races at the start and then come over. And I'd always only just have enough money to get through this, and then at the end of the season, I'd have to sell my bike to get home. So then I'd be home without a bike, and I'd be like, damn it, what do? I can't ride, I don't have a bike. So then in 2015, I think it was, I decided to just stay over here because basically I ran out of money and I didn't want to sell my bike. So I was like, maybe, and I messaged Manon actually because I knew she lived here in Wales, and she was like, oh, my dad owns an indoor skate park and if you want, you can work there. So I basically was just like, cool, I'll just do that instead. Yeah, so then ever since then I've just been here, which has been sick.
And ever since then, you have then made your career as a pro mountain biker. What changed?
Yeah, so I stopped racing because I really wasn't enjoying it, and it was stressing me out that I couldn't get the results I wanted. So I thought at the end of one of the seasons, I think it was the 2016 season, I decided I'm just going to ride for fun now. I'm not going to worry about racing. I'm just going to work like I normally do. And then I applied to go to uni. I was living in Bristol at the time, so I applied to go to uni there. And then, so I was just riding for fun with my mates, with my brother and my boyfriend and everyone. And we just started making little videos for fun because we were all really into filming. And I just put those on my Instagram, and then it just, I don't know, I wasn't trying to do anything. It all just kind of happened from there. I actually messaged Jamie from Wide Open because I thought maybe I'll just do a couple of races around the UK for fun. I was like, yo, what's the deal? Like, do you reckon I could come on the team as a rider for like on the race team as a rider? And he was like, oh, it was a super late. I think it was like, I don't know, like January or February. So super late to pick up a sponsorship. And I never had one before, so I didn't know what I was doing anyway. And he was like, oh, sorry, our race team's fully stacked up for the year, but if you want, we'll like give you a little bit of support as a media rider. And because I think he'd already seen that I was making a couple of edits and stuff. So yeah, I went on board with Wide Open. I did some videos with them, and then basically all thanks to them that my career's taken off. So big up Wide Open.
And you're basically, I guess, categorized as a content creator, like a mountain bike content creator. You're not having to race, but what are you having to do to make yourself unique, to set yourself apart from, and to make yourself interesting to sponsors?
I don't know. I don't really try to be different, or I don't try to do anything to please anyone. That might seem really rude, but I was never trying to, oh, maybe I make videos that someone will sponsor me. I was never trying to do anything like that. So, and I think that's one of the main reasons why it took off for me, because I was just sort of doing my own thing and having a lot of fun. And then that's allowed me to carry it on, really, because I'm not seeing it as a chore, or it's not like stressing me out, or it's not, it's not like a massive chore to me. So I'm still able to have fun with it. And then like sort of portray that on social media as well, which gets people stoked. There's nothing that gets me more stoked than seeing someone having fun on their bike. So yeah, I think that's it, really.
You just want to convey that. But I mean, is it harder work than it looks from the outside? Is there any pressure that it's like, it's a job now, it's a real job, this is what you're living off?
Yeah.
Is there another side to it? What's it like?
More like there's definitely more that goes into it than just hanging out and riding my bike. Like there's a lot of admin, which is sweet. Like I don't mind that at all. And when I film something for Instagram or for edits, it takes a lot of time and effort, and I definitely, and like I don't know, sometimes there's a lot of risk involved as well. But it's always something that I really want to do. Like it's something that I need to do for my job, but I also really want to do it. I'm super motivated. You know, if I want to do a trick on a big jump that I'm scared of doing or something, I really still want to do it. I'm not just doing it because I feel like I have to for my job. So it's a pretty sick setup. I'm pretty stoked. I'm just riding it out for as long as I can, basically.
And so it basically sounds like you're driven internally, like you put that pressure on yourself to do things that you want to achieve. But we rarely actually see you scared on Instagram. You know, we see you try, we see you fail, you show your attempts and your crashes and your bails, which is awesome. And in the Vision movie, you know, there's a moment where you did hit that dirt jump with Joey Goff in Barcelona, and you were so stoked. You were like, this feels better than winning any race. So what do you do when you do feel the fear? Like, how do you get yourself over that? How do you push through that?
I feel it all the time. Like
Really?
I don't know. I can't put it on my Instagram because, you know, well, I could, but I think it would be a bit boring if they're just videos of me standing at the top of the line being like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't put much of that on social media, but like I'm probably, me and Tiny Seagrove, who's a really good mate of mine, I'm really grateful that she lives not far from me and that we can, not at the moment, obviously we can't go riding, but I'm really grateful that she's here as well, because we're always at the top. Like the boys are just sent straight down and we're there for hours just like, oh, but what if this happens and then this happens? What if my wheel just falls off midair? Like, and we're like talking about the craziest stuff and we're both so scared. So it's really cool to have someone to like, it might be a recipe for like, not for disaster, but for more scared vibes, because we're both just bouncing more scary ideas off each other. But yeah, I get scared for sure, and it's something that I'm trying to work on. But a lot of the time, I've sort of realized now when I know, like if I'm just scared to do something because it's big or scary, or I've seen someone get sketchy on it, I sort of know, like inwardly, I know the feeling of just being scared because it's kind of a gnarly thing, or being fully scared because I don't have the capability to do it. So most of the time, touch wood, I know the difference between those things. And if it's the feeling that's telling me like you really shouldn't do this, or you're too tired, like you've had a long day, maybe you shouldn't hit this massive jump straight away, then I definitely know where to draw the line and just go home instead and come back another day, or just not do it at all, or something like that.
Does it bum you out? Do you go home like, oh man, or do you just know that, have you got to a stage where you know what your body's telling you now?
It definitely it kind of makes me, I get like pretty angry instead of bummed out. Like I'll just hate myself so much, like come on, like what are you doing? And I'll talk to myself in such a horrible way. So that's kind of how I deal with stuff. Like I've never talked to anyone how I talk to myself, but yeah, but it doesn't happen very often. Like a lot of the times there'll be something that I'm really scared to hit and it will take a long time, so long that once I've hit it I'm not even stoked, I'm just like angry at myself because I didn't do it earlier because it was so easy. You know, I think you get that.
It's so human though. Do you know what? It's really like refreshing to hear you talk like that, because you don't see it, and everyone goes through that battle no matter what level they're at. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's almost nice, no offense, but it's kind of nice to hear someone of your level saying that you're going through the same battles that everyone else battles no matter what level they're at. And you also touched on something else there about riding with Tani, and how, so you two as two females are analysing this, but you've also got a bit of a boy gang around you. Does it make any difference to you riding with girls and riding with guys, and what pushes you to make you a better rider?
To me, I don't really see guys and girls. I just kind of see everyone as riders, which I think is definitely a better way to not intimidate yourself around people, because it can be intimidating when, you know, you turn up to a skate park or something and there's like all these insane guys there and you're just like, oh my God, all these guys are here. Like, but there's always guys that are worse than you, guys that are better than you. It doesn't matter if they're guys or girls. I think, I've tried to sort of separate from the thought of that, because I did used to get really intimidated by the thought of really gnarly guys being at a spot. Like, oh my God, these guys are watching me. I don't think I want to drop in. But like we've got a really cool crew here of guys and girls. And it's sick. Cade and Chaos obviously are unreal riders, and they make you feel like a pretty bad rider sometimes. But then on the other hand, that also hypes you up to try and be better and do stuff. And they're really supportive and always giving you tips and stuff. So it's an awesome setup. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it pushes you to be a better rider.
Definitely, yeah. Me and Tanya kind of go through phases. We'll sit there sometimes and be like, yes, that's so sick. We should definitely try all this stuff. And then other times we're just like, maybe we should just quit.
Wait, where's that horse gone? Where's that pony?
How are we ever going to do that?
Right. I'm going to go into a little quick fire question round. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I've got 10 questions for you. You're only allowed to give me 1-word answers, and you've got a maximum of 3 seconds to answer them. Audience, get yourselves ready, because after this is your opportunity to ask some questions to the one and only Veronique Sandler. So get your questions ready. And just after this round, we'll be opening it up to the floor.
So this is like what I think of, the first thing I think of, kind of, or an actual answer to you.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a mix. It's like some of them are factual, and some of them are just about you. So,
okay.
I mean, the rules are fairly simple. 1 word, 3 seconds. Are you ready?
Yes.
You look ready. All right. Oski's ready.
Just watching up for it as well. Let's go.
1-word answer, favourite bike.
Marin.
Okay. Aside from water, what do you drink most regularly?
Squash.
What goes into a toaster?
Bread.
Well done. Yes. Bright cookie. 1 word to describe your brother, Leo Sandler.
Sick.
What's your go-to psych-up song?
Sa Baby. It's an artist. So anything, basically.
What do cows drink?
Sorry, say that again?
What do cows drink?
Water?
Yes. What brand brakes do you ride?
Hope.
What trick are you dying to learn that still eludes you?
Superman.
Oh, can't wait to see that one.
But I may as well try.
You might need to answer this in a couple of words. How often do you wash your knee pads?
Every couple of rides.
Okay. And what's the most amount of vision line laps you've done in one single day?
Untold amounts.
2 words. Fail. Brilliant. All right. Thanks for joining in with that. And now we're going to open it up to the audience questions. So producer Hannah here is going to pop some questions onto the screen, and it gives everybody else
in the private chat.
It's cool. I'll read them out. You can you see that on the screen yourself? I'll read it out to you anyway.
Okay.
But you obviously can't see it. So this is from Jazz. When you dig a new ride line, do you build 2/3 and then ride them to see how they feel? Or, that's a good question, or wait till the end to do it all in one?
It varies really. It depends. Obviously, I dig, and most of the time I dig, well, the most that I dig is in the winter. And it kind of with the intention that it will be a sick thing to ride in the summer. So a lot of the time, it's a bit of a gamble, and I'll dig something and just kind of hope I won't be able to, if it's a jump or something, it will be too soft to hit in the winter. So I'll just hope that it will work in the summer. So I don't know. It definitely, I'd say it's about 50-50 depending on what I'm building. If it's a jump, I'll definitely, or a jump line, I normally, I'll try to build a jump and then hit it and then build another one, hit it. because it would be a shame to build a whole jump line and then have to redo the whole thing. But sometimes that's not the reality. Sometimes it's too wet. Like we've just built a jump line up the local place, and it worked pretty. Like we built probably 5 jumps in a row, and they worked pretty good, but they need a little bit of adjustment. We just ended up hitting them about a month ago when it dried up a little bit. But I feel like I've done quite a bit now, and I normally get stuff all right. Like it won't be perfect to ride, but I'll get it so that it will just need a little bit of tweaking when it's time to ride it. So yeah, 50-50 I'd say.
How did it happen with Vision Line as well? Thanks, Jazz. It's a brilliant question, actually. It's really catapulted some ideas along. So with Vision Line, was the whole thing built and you turned up and had to ride it?
No, they sort of built, well, again, it was built in the winter, but because it's built in such an amazing way, it was really hard packed. So they were able to test the boys who built it. Actually, they're unreal riders. So they sort of tested the first couple of jumps. And then we had a session, I think it was about maybe late March or early April time, when they built about half the line, and we tested it and it just worked perfect. Like it was really soft still. So we were kind of scared, and the jumps looked huge. Again, me and Tanya were doing that thing. We were like, oh my God, what do we do? But just because they're such legends and so amazing at building, everything worked perfect first time. So they just know exactly what they're doing, and I think they knew that it was going to work. So yeah.
Yeah, you could trust that. Awesome. Okay, this one from Daria. Any tips for complete beginners?
I would say, in terms of like mentally, I would say definitely don't let yourself. Well, try not to let yourself be deterred by if there's like really good riders around you that intimidate you. Don't worry about them, and just sort of like get on with it and have fun. It's super hard to block them out, but yeah, I think that's like one of the main things in my progression. When I sort of like drop the barrier of worrying what people were thinking of me, and like worrying what people were watching me ride and stuff. Yeah, it really opened new doors for me, and like I was just hitting stuff in a way that, because obviously it's super hard to perform under pressure as well. If you're like trying to hit something good and there's people watching, you're like, oh my God, there's like so much going on in your mind. And then also a big tip that I personally has helped me a lot is sessioning stuff. So you'll find like a couple of turns, or 1 jump, 2 jumps, just short sections of trail. If you want to improve your skills, I'd say that's the best way to like just your skills will go through the roof way quicker than if you're riding down a trail and trying to learn one thing in a whole trail. Just because it's like repetition, you're just practicing the same thing over and over and over, and you pick it up so much quicker. That definitely has helped me a lot over the last couple of years.
Awesome. Brilliant, actually. Brilliant advice. Okay, this one's from Paul. Would you recommend a trip to La Poma? So this is where you visited in Vision.
Yeah.
In Barcelona in Spain, for beginner dirt jumpers.
I would say there's definitely better places to go if you're a beginner. Well, if you... depends where you're living, I guess. If you live in Spain, for sure. But I'd say if you live in the UK, I would probably suggest going to some other spots first. But there's... Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. Oski just farted really loud.
Oh, no. I didn't hear it. Did it smell?
But
at least it's not smell-o-vision.
So, what's that?
At least it's not smell-o-vision. Can you smell it?
You guys are very lucky. Not. They're really bad. They're really bad. What I was saying, yes. To be fair, when I first went to La Poma, I was pretty much a complete beginner at dirt jumps. I'd probably only ridden a dirt jump like a couple of times. And it is an amazing place to progress because there are all kinds of lines. There's a pump track as well. So if you're not feeling hitting the smaller dirt jumps, you can warm up on the pump track and get used to the motion of like pumping jumps, which is what you really need to ride dirt jumps. And there's a skate park, there's a dual slalom track. So there's a lot more there than just dirt jumps. So I'd recommend it to anyone for sure. But what I wouldn't recommend is diving in the deep end and just trying to send the big stuff there, because I did that and it did not work for me. So yes, definitely like build your way up. use the resources I've got there, use the pump track, use the little dirt jumps, and then work your way up to the bigger lines.
Awesome, nice one. Okay, next question from Darren. Good one. Do you do much road riding or gym work? I've wondered this as well, like how much of it's working out, or is it just riding your bike, having fun?
I think for quite a few people who have similar job titles to me, there's not much working out involved, but I really enjoy working out, and because I'm from sort of a racing background, I used to go to the gym a lot, and I really, really love going to the gym. I know people don't always like it, but I love it. I love pushing myself in the gym.
Right,
I do a lot of gym work over the winter. In the summer, I sort of just ride outdoors and do whatever I want. But I do love going to the gym in the winter when there's not much else to do in terms of mountain biking, because there's, anyway, the local stuff here, we don't want to wreck it too much, so we try to stay off it in the winter. And then in terms of road riding, I haven't really done any up until a couple of weeks ago. I just got a gravel bike. So I've got into it, which is, I've been loving it. Obviously it's a gravel bike, so I go for gravelly road rides. But I've been loving it. I think it's definitely made better by the fact that there's not many cars on the road at the moment. So I'm not sure how I like the road riding side of it once there's loads of cars. I find it pretty scary probably, but gravel riding is sick. I'm loving it.
Love that. Gravelly road rides.
The roads here are more like, I wouldn't call them roads, they're pretty gravelly.
Sounds like you got the right bike for it then.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what's the next question we've got from Chris? As you both, I guess this is both of us, because you both lived in various countries, where is your favourite place to live and where's your favourite place to ride? Over to you, Vero.
Me? My favourite place to live is Wales, for sure. I am from New Zealand and I do love New Zealand, but I've fallen in love with the UK and I absolutely love Wales. And it does remind me a lot of home as well in a lot of ways. But I've sort of settled down here and made it my home now, so I absolutely love where I live. And my favorite place to ride, I think my favorite place that I've ever ridden is Hafjell in Norway, which is an amazing bike park. It's got really, really long trails. It's got a massive variation of stuff. So there's like technical stuff. There's a well-cut downhill track, so proper gnarly stuff. There's flow trails, jump lines, like blue and green lines as well. So there's absolutely everything there. And it's just an amazing place with really, really cool scenery. So, and it's my favorite country ever. So definitely Hafjell.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. So, so I've moved to Spain. I live in Malaga at the moment. I moved here a couple of years ago. And to be totally honest, Chris, it was never my intention to move here. I just ended up here for various personal reasons. I met a guy, worked out that way, ended up here. And it's really taught me that the UK is just amazing for off-road riding. It's not just, it's like, I remember actually when I first moved here, there was this guy and he was like really obnoxious. And he was like, oh, how do you do mountain biking when there's no mountains in the UK? And I was like, well, for one, there are mountains. But secondly, like the trails are just awesome. Like the Surrey Hill trails are fantastic. The bike parks are out of this world. And down here in southern Spain, like there's some wicked trails, but it's super dry, it's super dusty. Anything that's man-made doesn't hold up for a long time. And just the community in the UK mountain bike community is super, super special. And I'm loving living in Spain, but riding in the UK, I think pretty much, in terms of a place to live, it tops anywhere that I've been.
It's funny that you say that because that's like my exact opinion as well. It's cool.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. People always say like, why did you move here? Like, oh, the UK sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then exactly what you've said that's what I say to them every time. Like, it's the best. It's
got everything and the people as well behind it.
There's always crews to ride with out there, which is a big part of it as well.
Yeah. So I think we've got, well, it's just hurting on 9 o'clock, but if you don't mind, Vero, we're going to go with one more question here. And this is from Samuel. Have you ever been tempted to go bike packing? And if so, where would you go? Don't say Norway, apart from Wales and New Zealand and Norway, obviously. And who with?
Who with? I definitely have been, I wouldn't say I've officially been bike packing, but I've been, when I was in the French Alps a couple of years ago, I went, it wasn't on a gravel bike either. It was, does it have to be on a gravel bike? I'm very clueless when it comes to bike packing, but anyway, we had some packs, we had some bikes, and we went up some big mountains and stayed over a couple of nights in the French Alps, which was cool. And that definitely got me hyped to do a little bit more of that. And I've actually recently bought some, are they called panniers? The bags?
Yeah, panniers, yeah. I like the accent there. Très chic, très chic.
The place I've not really looked into it too much, but a place that I've always really wanted to go bike packing is in Scotland, because I've heard that there's some really amazing sort of routes that you can do there, and there's what are those, bothies or something? The huts?
Yeah, they're like little huts, aren't they?
Yeah. So I'd love to check that out. And now that I've got a gravel bike, I definitely will do some of that. I just have to find a friend who also has a gravel bike. So in terms of who to do it with, I'd love to do it with some of my mates or my boyfriend or something, but they do not have gravel bikes. So
well, I'm sure we could sort this out, because it sounds like a winner for the Great North Trail, which is a huge campaign of Cycling UK. So any of the Cycling UK gang watching this right now, I think we just stumbled onto a brilliant video idea. Vero doing a gravel ride on the Great North Trail. It's only 800 miles. It's fine.
Wow, I will definitely have to train.
I'm sure you'll find a bothy or two there as well.
Yeah, I actually it was in Malaga a couple of years ago that I shot a video. I shot a sort of a promo video with Marin for a gravel bike that they have, and we rode, I wouldn't know the name of the trails we rode, but we rode like some downhill trails on the gravel bikes, and it was so much fun. Some of I think that's some of the more iconic stuff you guys have.
Ah, cool. Drop me the link to the video. I've not seen that one.
Yeah, but that's where I got like super stoked on gravel bikes, and that's why I've got one now. That's why I just got one the other week actually, because I remembered that and I was like, that's sick. It just makes like super chill trails that you normally just cruise down, just brings like a whole new gnarly aspect to them, doesn't it? So
yeah, I can't imagine some of the trails down here on a gravel bike. So drop me the link. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I'm sure loads of people here watching as well. I'd like to see if I can identify any of the trails as well. But I don't want to keep you any longer, because really appreciate the time that you've given us tonight. There have been loads of questions in the chat bar. So what I've noticed, you're pretty decent on Instagram actually at getting back to people when people comment and stuff like that. So I'm sure that if you do have any pressing questions that you'd like to ask Vero, you can get in touch with her on her own personal social media, which is Veronique Sandler.
Do my best to answer whatever I can.
Yeah, wicked. Make sure that you do follow her. And Vero, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And just saying goodbye to her, could everyone who's enjoyed this put a nice big thumbs up or some hearts or some smileys in the live comments there, so we can see that as we say goodbye to Vero Sandler. Bye. Cool. All right. I really hope you enjoyed that, everyone, this evening. That was an audience with Vero Sandler with Live for Cycling UK. Next week, we've got cyclocross commentator Marty McDonald. He's also an illustrator, so we're going to be playing a little bit with that. It's been really, really enjoyable. It's been great to highlight some of Cycling UK's charitable work. Don't forget to go and check out their website. And thank you so much for all your questions and for getting involved this evening. It's been a blast. See you next week. Bye.